Many thanks for joining, dear viewers. You are watching OBN Horn of Africa. This is weekly program Future Africa, and I'm Fantam Belete hosting this program. Today, I have very special guest with me, His Excellency Jamal Beker, Ambassador Extraordinary Plenipotentiary of Ethiopia to Pakistan. In this episode, we are going to talk about the Memorandum of Understanding that Ethiopia signed with Somaliland. Till the end of our program, stay with us. Your Excellency Ambassador, welcome to this program and thank you for joining.
Fantown, long due. Thank you for coming to me to interview me, and I'm very glad to see you here.
Great. Ethiopia and Somaliland have announced that they have reached an agreement that enables Ethiopia to secure a 20 square kilometer stretch of Somaliland's coastal water. How significant is this agreement for the two parties?
Fantown, let me just begin by saying, thanking our visionary leader for achieving this groundbreaking news, especially for a country like Ethiopia. And I also like to extend my congratulations to Ethiopians, to Somaliland, and for all who are peace-loving people. And indeed, this is something, a gift of the century for our people in Somaliland. Having said this, what makes it special for Ethiopia and Somaliland, this MOU. As we know, Ethiopia has taken reform, which is deep and penetrating, especially championing on our foreign policy issues. Four things are very pertinent. One is legacy of Foreign Office, which is we are celebrating 160 years of Foreign Office, since its establishment. That means we have some success stories, achievement previously. Second, also, what we have is holistic view, viewing what is happening at international level, regional level, and national level, how this can affect our country. The third is balanced view, which is a lot of theories in international affairs, ideal, realist, constructive. We have many. So out of this, how we can put ourselves in order so that we'll follow our national interest to achieve and protect Ethiopia's national interest. The fourth point is intricate. Nothing is happening in vacuum. So what happened at some point will have an effect on you, and you work how to minimize this effect. So having said this, and derivative of this foreign policy statement, we have priority to our neighboring country. Anything happen inside our neighbor directly has an impact on our existential matter and also peace and prosperity matter. So then, the second point is regional integration also. So we need to give what we have and take also what they have. So we create a kind of ecosystem where everyone get benefit from one another. So from this point of view, so what does this MOU mean? And significance it gives to Ethiopia and Somaliland. Number one, it achieves the aspiration of Ethiopia and Somaliland for so long. One aspiration of Ethiopia is also to live in peace with its neighbor. As we said, neighboring priority to neighbor. So that one is, it focuses on political, diplomatic issue where they can work together to shape the strategic of this region, plus also transform the relationship they have with, historically we have a strong bondage with Somaliland because we share people, we share, many things. Those is one aspect. The second also signifies is military, security, intelligence matter. Ethiopia, as you know, we have very professional military capabilities and intelligence, and we have played a great role in the Horn of Africa, plus in the global arena. And this security apparatus of Ethiopia can help, Somaliland to share information so that also we can jointly, fight terrorism such as Al-Shabaab and Daesh, plus again piracy on this matter. So it is very critical for us to work with our neighboring countries. The third point is economy. Economy, as we know, no country prospers by itself. So interdependency, and one gain and the other also benefit. So it is a mutual two-way traffic interest in a way that ensures regional integration. The fourth strategic point of this MOU is shaping the social contract that will improve cooperation between the societies along the border of Ethiopia. All Somaliland belongs in Ethiopia, if you see, all what is in Somaliland, all are in Ethiopia. There in Sultan, Ugas is in Ethiopia, all of them, mostly. So this one will create a bridge in a way they cooperate so that they will, work for their future aspiration and shape and take relationship to strategic level. So it is very important for two nations to achieve the aspiration of their people.
While announcing this news of Ethiopia's lack of seaport access to Ethiopians and the world, Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed described Ethiopia as not having access to seaports as major fracture or one of the major fractures in its recent history. What does this tell about the necessity of having seaport?
Yes, Fantaun, let us look what it means seaport in nowadays in this 21st century. If you know, at the beginning of 18th centuries, there are a writer called Tyre Maha, who was considering who control sea, control world. So somebody who has control over the sea has a control over the world even. This is a theory that is developed. After that, who control the heartland will control also the world. This is another theory. The third theory is who control rim land controlled the world. So starting from China, India, all the way Indonesia, Malaysia, you come this way, and then you take from this part, Gulf of Eden, and then all the way Bab el-Mandab, you go that way. So this theory shows you one thing: if any country nowadays, even they can say the war can be finished in sea, so that even you cannot go in, you destroy someone from the sea. So the importance of sea is becoming for a national interest. That is why our Prime Minister have said Ethiopia's lack of sea has been, a fracture, as you said, in our peoples, and that has been, very challenging for our existential. It is very sad matter to hear that previous regime, they have considered as, like something commodity, and that belittle the importance of sea. That is historic mistake, and it's legally also violates Ethiopia's intention for so long. But since that day the Prime Minister came to the helmet of Premiership, this issue became a national agenda. It is also a necessity of Ethiopia's, which determines a national interest plus our national existence also. So sea, access to sea, Red Sea, plus Nile issue is an existential matter for Ethiopia, as the Prime Minister have said. What it symbolize? So imagine now, why American, Chinese, other countries, including them, around 11 have got military bases in Djibouti. And while we are a neighboring, 95% of Ethiopia's import is done through Djibouti. Imagine Fantao. And somebody who want to choke you. And if some conflict has happened, as has been happening by Houthi, you can see how that has affected the global trade route, and all have shifted from the ship from all that very short, and they take a good of Cape of Good Hope, that South Africa. So it is a long way traffic that increases by 2/3 or something like that on the value of transportations. That makes also directly goes to the people. So for us, let's say something has happened in Red Sea again, which blocks us choke point. So the only way that to ensure our existence is having access to seaport. So it is an existential matter. By hook or by crook, Ethiopia is a huge nation. So as I said, through a matter of discussion, dialogue, negotiations, Ethiopia has given a call since, the Prime Minister has come to our neighboring country. And then he said, Ethiopia is a big nation, and we have also, history of access to Red Sea. And that kind of, legitimate issues should be done through discussion, apart from war. And then he presented this case to all of our neighboring country, where he meets his first move is toward neighboring country where this matter been in discussions. So for so long this has been in case, and later on the good positive response comes from our brotherly people of Somaliland. which ensures the aspiration of Ethiopia, plus again the aspiration of Somaliland to live together and to shape the geopolitics where we are.
The agreement Ethiopia has made with Somaliland enables Ethiopia to build a military base on the coastal water of Somaliland. How helpful will this be for Ethiopia's security?
Very kind. Look, I've tried to touch. Now let us go now geographical issues now. What geographical issue means this area? Red Sea, if you see, we're now, the discussion, so we are very close to Gulf of Eden, then Arabian Sea, all the way we have also Gulf of Oman, then goes to Persian Gulf. Come this way again. So we have Indian Ocean on the other side in the Pacific, and from this side also we have Bab el-Mandeb, Red Sea, Suez Canal, then Mediterranean. If you look these geographical areas, this is very critical point in 21st century. Why? Why Americans are here? Coming from 10,000, more than 10,000 kilometers. Because this is a very important. Chinese, the first ever, military base outside Chinese is in Djibouti. Why? Then you ask yourself. And also others, very influential country, UK, France, Italian, Spain, all of them, around this place. So almost 11 of them, they have got military bases in this geographical location. Why not Ethiopia then? So why they come, number one, is these traffic areas, if you think, Asian, if you look into Chinese, Indian, Malaysians and many Asian countries, this is sometimes Asia's now very good in economic trajectories. They have got manufacturing goods and different machineries. These different products of industry moves from where they are to Africa, Middle East, and then Europe, Latin America, through what? Through this area. Almost 50% of global trade is done through this traffic, through this Red Sea. Plus again, if you look into the, the volume of container transaction in this area, 30% of our global container movement is done on this area. Close to 1 trillion value are done on these routes. So this is a lifeblood of all, global, great powers. That is why they come to this place. Now, a good thing that signifies the importance of this geography, when Hutu attacks, Houthi, militias attacked the ships, what happened? The whole, European actually up to 2.3 of their GDP has been affected by these transactions. And so do also other country which is very close to this path. So having security of this area is critically important, not only to Ethiopia, to also regional interests, some major powers who have an interest in the region, plus also for neighboring country. Then Ethiopia, how can we minimize the risk associated with this issue? So having access and also working with the neighborly countries through a joint effort to minimize the attacks that can be associated with Al-Shabaab, and plus also piracy and human trafficking, illicit smuggling of arms also that affect the whole international security threat. So Ethiopia, with its capabilities and the capacity of its militaries and other information intelligence, it can manage and help the global international community to ensure peace in this area. So there are some who trying to work, not Ethiopia's to play its geographical role, but this is fait accompli, and the issue is well in progress, and we are determined to make this happen really and increase our presence in these geographical areas.
Since you have touched the security issue around the sea, how can countries in that region come together and work for the security of this seaport and other countries, or the peace and stability of the Horn region as well?
Look, one thing, Fantaun, very important. Ethiopia, no country is self-sufficient. So the rule of interdependence comes from here. And what I have, what others no have. So how can we mutually bring our capacities together for a collective security, collective prosperity, collective achievement of our nation's aspirations. This issue requires regional cooperation. Especially, Ethiopia is very close to 60 kilometers away from, Red Sea, which is very small, distance. You cannot ignore Ethiopia's role in this matter. And as you have, there is a Red Sea Security Council, what we call. This is African Arabian, Council of Red Sea Associations, council, which works on the Red Sea securities. If you see, Ethiopia is not member, and the other countries who can have also, landlocked the country, but who have a significant, dependency or role in this region. So we're requesting other, partners who are working on this. Ethiopia's role cannot be, undermined in this area, because our Ethiopia's securities attached to Red Sea. Then how can we achieve? Ethiopia has got, as a founding member of IGAD, we're working with the IGAD member. We have a special envoy on this matter who deals with, associated with, this maritime related security matter. And so that collectively countries address concerns together. So Africa needs, maritime security policy as well, a strategy. How can we defend not only, also regional integration, also how can we maintain Africa's maritime security along these areas? So Ethiopia is working closely with its neighboring country. Also, this issue strategically need to be dealt at African Union level, so that we are working in these like-minded countries and other associations to ensure the peace and the stabilities and maritime threats and securities in the region.
Gaining access to the strategically positioned Berbera port is expected to be a game changer for Ethiopia's trade network. What will it offer Ethiopia? What economic advantage specifically does it offer Ethiopia?
One thing, it is very important. At the end of the day, if you see global interaction nowadays, cooperations, it is geoeconomics. Whatever moves, steps, every political or geo-military, geostrategy move you made is to achieve geoeconomic strategy. So what Ethiopia can gain from this one, from an economic term? Let us look from the framing that, if you look in the global trade route, a country who has a port, simply by having a port, they have, get GDP of 1.5 greater than the countries who doesn't have, sea access. And also there is an economic, which research which is published by a global noun, UNCTAD, which says country without port, 20% of them, they're less export and also less import, less export. So this will affect completely the economy of a nation if a country cannot export. So one thing, another thing is transportation. Every, from 52% up to 262% of, country without port, there is a cost of transportations levied on them. And so the goods that you export cannot be competitive in either way. You can see the challenge we are in then. So this is another aspect. And also, if you see the ease of movement, the day it takes for clearance, for checking everything, those countries who has, this one, completely have another aspect that is 7 out to 14 days better than or less than those countries who doesn't have. So this, adding all this comparative advantage, when you look Fantown, completely, the economic advantage is twofold. Let us look at one point. Exactly, let's say Ethiopia produce now, it has got agricultural product, manufacturing product. If you want to go sell to the market, you have an easy movement of goods and services to reach markets with a comparative advantage. Then it increases Ethiopia's export. So that is one comparative, advantage, price comparative will rest with others. The second also, what it helps Ethiopia is, it will also create job opportunities. Especially, let's say investors will come, always when we are abroad, what they ask is, which port they are using? You don't have your own port. Because the port is as a criteria even for investors. Because they know its movement and the cost they levy on this one, and it will also affect their manufacturing plants. So it will completely, increase productivities, create jobs and technology transfer. So another way, it will attract foreign direct investment. If this has been addressed also, then it creates microeconomic stabilities. If you try to export a good bulk, and then the import is also very price is minimal, then you reduce imported taxation, I mean import inflations, then it will help microeconomic stabilities. So above all, this port issue is very critical for any nations to achieve economic prosperity.
Since you have touched the geopolitical status, do you think this agreement will change the geopolitical status of Ethiopia? And from Somaliland view, or from Somaliland side, do you think that this agreement will offer some advantage for Somaliland?
Let me begin with Somaliland, and then we'll see how this combined together affect geopolitics. What will this agreement offer Somaliland? I think this is very critical for our neighboring country, especially. Most of them, imagine how much Djibouti is gaining from our port service. Do you know how much it is? Very close to $2 billion. So $2 billion, which means per year, $2 billion. Okay, if some of this will shift to Somaliland, imagine one of the things is they get huge amount of benefits of economic gain. So Ethiopia follows a policy of port diversifications in one way or on the other. It will help also regional integrations. So it will create economic integration for Somaliland. Second, also Ethiopia is a huge market which is close to 130 million. This is surplus market, and this will be a good market for Somaliland, so that they can try to connect Ethiopia's market, connected to Ethiopia's market, which will fastest growing economy.
That means Somalilanders will interact with Ethiopia in business or networks.
Yes, because this is what we're expecting. One of the this one, it will completely align transaction of legal trade between Somaliland and Ethiopia. That will increase a big volume for them. The third is it creates investment for them also. This is a huge investment going to be port development in terms of infrastructure, in terms of road, railway. This will create also job opportunity for Somaliland. And plus also our close Somali region. Somali region is also the immediate benefit of this process. So it's a completely transforming, as you said, it's a game changer in the region. So completely based on mutual benefit and reciprocity. So we have a potential, and they have also. If we put this potential together, it will completely transform the geopolitical landscape of the region. So now let us come back to how it changes then the geopolitics Ethiopia have posturing itself in this region. Imagine Ethiopia has got, since when it has port and sea access to Red Sea, Ethiopia is prospering. One is working with countries who have an interest in these regional areas for regional peace and security. Ethiopia is an anchor state in the region. Nobody can ignore, and nobody will undermine Ethiopia's role. We are doing peacekeeping in Somalia. We are sacrificing our sons, and for maintaining peace and stability in Somalia. Also in Abyei, we're doing our sons, beloved, they're sacrificing for the peace and stability of South Sudan in Abyei, and the rest others as well. So this shows how Ethiopia gives importance to its neighboring, plus also regional cooperations. This will uplift Ethiopia's security maintenance, plus its role to play in the region. Nobody will ignore. So once we have our like maritime basis in that, so we have already trained our cadets of on the marine, so they can manage any threat that can come to our country, plus our region also. They will protect, giving through different cooperation that we have with Somaliland and also with other countries. So it will increase Ethiopia's role, a strategic importance to the other country. So also it has a play to play on international peace and security. So everything is connected. Nothing is indivisible now. So Ethiopia's role in this part, and will help also international peace. I think this is a way that Ethiopia believes also mutual benefits to our neighboring and also with the international peace and security. It will increase completely, transform also Ethiopia's geopolitical role.
Somalia will also get benefit from this agreement and Ethiopia's access to seaports, right?
Yes.
So why is it Somalia complaining this agreement?
We should, always look into the perspective that Ethiopia's and Somalia's and Somaliland and other regions also our fate is connected. We cannot choose your neighbor. Whatsoever happens, you need to address accordingly. Yes, so we are on the same boat. We will sink together or we swim together. So there are, countries who are historic enemies of Ethiopia, who was, lost in one battle, and they try to gain also another front open for us, and trying to use a different clicks around. And so they try to, affect in one way or another, the brotherly fraternity relationship between in Somalia. Many have tried, but never succeed. It is a matter of time. And we believe that our fate is all connected together. And so from this perspective, Ethiopia follows one of the oldest ancient civilized country who knows what is international rule. And we have sacrificing our sons for that and to maintain the peace and stability of international rule-based order. And we have done, and we will do so in the future too. We are doing now. So with this perspective, we have done also a lot previously with Somaliland, where we have 19% of share with DP World and Somaliland. Have you heard any sound at that time? None at all. And many other countries also did with Somaliland. Have you heard? No. Why now? This is left, let us left this one in quote unquote. Why this time? What we believe in as an Ethiopian, our faith connected with Somalia, and we are also ready to discuss, negotiate anything on the matter. What important is achieving our collective peace and security. This project completely, as I said, it will benefit everyone around, and we want to be, connected with one another and live also shape our, geographical areas in a way move into our strategic, importance. So Ethiopia giving also it is energy, if you know, to Somalia, to Djibouti, Kenya, Sudan. Through time also we're expanding to, once we complete our Grand Ethiopia Renaissance Dam, we'll give all the way to Somalia, to Somaliland, to also South Sudan, all the way to Tanzania. We have Eastern, energy pool where Ethiopia can do regional integration through energy grid. So it is very imperative for all of us to look into in perspective who are destabilizing. There are some who are already shocked by the agreement, and some of them, and nobody can stop the aspiration of the two nations. So what we will do is, we'll try to talk to them in a very sober manner and give them the facts on the matters. And this is only, a business modalities, lease-based system, which is Ethiopia gives from what it have, Somaliland gives Ethiopia from what it has. So this is based on international rule-based system. We follow that on the rule of reciprocity, give and take. And we hope this will, everybody will come back to his conscience, and it will take shapes, and hope it will proceed as intended.
Since Ethiopia officially declared it is interested to have seaport access from its neighbors or neighboring countries, many political commentators and media houses are busy attaching the issue to Eritrea. How have you seen these developments though?
History has its own impact on the current thinking. Because of Ethiopia's, previously Ethiopia has been using, it is a part of Ethiopia, 3 decades ago. And everybody associates when Ethiopia was thinking, going to sea access, anything that comes to them is Asab and Misiwa. But from the very day when our Prime Minister have joined in, in the premiership helmet, he started talking about these agendas with all our neighboring country. And we're going, to connect all this regional integration. That's why our foreign policy gives so importance to regional, integrations, and we are working since that. And we have been discussing with most of our neighboring country on this matter, and we have been consistently expressing our aspiration and our also concern in this matter, importance for regional integrations, mutual benefits, all those based on the principle of IGAD and also African Union, of regional integration mechanisms that we have. Unfortunately, most of them, they think that Ethiopia was going to war to get sea access. But our Prime Minister has cleared many times, Ethiopia will never go to war in order to pursue its national interest. So it is based on only peaceful manner, through negotiation and dialogue and discussions. Indeed, that is our cornerstone. And some of them, they misunderstand that. That is the magic of Ethiopia. Actually, no one, we don't expect also to know us and predict us actually. It is good in one way. The other point, since then, when this has happened, previously they are thinking, they said Ethiopia is going to war and everything is under, process so that, Ethiopia will take, that didn't happen and will not happen. And they will not pursue this one for the sake of our national interest also with our neighboring country. Ethiopia never invaded any country and didn't know, so we don't have that, kind of apparatus to do, got to do also. So this Somaliland, when they appear, they get shocked actually. Some of them, they get surprised. And no one, how this happened? And also it is a peaceful manner and, without war. And then they try to find way that, in a way to, to disrupt, try to distract and, try to affect this process. But one thing is very clear. Nobody, because it is based on the mutual respect, mutual national interest. Somaliland needs something, Ethiopia needs something. There is a marriage of convenience in that matter. Everyone try to shout around and say, try to voice, something that will affect, but the patience and also perseverance of Ethiopian plus Somaliland and peace-loving international community, now they have understand. You don't find, the previous, at the beginning, there are hybrid war. All the enemies has involved and they trying to create triangular relationships to create a kind of effect on that. But those things, by passing of time, as the matter goes also to United Nations, and they said go back and discuss through regional apparatus, which is through IGAD and African Union. And we believe also in that. Africa's solutions for African problems. This is spirit of Ethiopia, Pan-Africanism. We believe also this is the only way that advances our national interest. And also, being as an African, always we need to sit together and discuss and resolve. And always, now I was hearing a sound, Ethiopia's, legitimate to advance this one is we understand, but say something like that. But this shows a goodwill, and we will try to take this one forward and finalize accordingly and achieve the MOU, materialize it for the benefit of the two nations.
Besides port issue, Ethiopia and Somaliland have also announced that they will have multi-directional development and security. How will this benefit the region?
Look, Fantahun, security matter is very imperative nowadays. As you see, we have a lot of challenges are going on the global level. This security challenge, countries cannot independently address them. So it is only through interdependence and developing a mutual cooperation mechanisms which paves a way that, mobilizes all the resources they have and add together and counter the regional or bilateral matters. Last time, as you know, His Excellency Field Marshal Birhanu Jula has met with, the General Noor from Somaliland. They discussed matters which is very important, imperative for maintaining regional peace and security, and also maintaining, strengthening bilateral cooperation that exists between Ethiopia and Somaliland to address the emerging, challenges such as Al-Shabaab, and also, Daesh, piracies in that areas, and how we can, counter this through joint efforts, and plus also developed mechanism, modalities to handle if anything emerge in this area. So this will create a kind of platform where we can, train, exchange informations also on this matter, and work also with other neighboring country to deter anything that will affect the regional peace and stabilities of the region. So it is very important working along, ensure the most important, imperative security apparatus or threat that emerges in this region completely. If it affects Somaliland, completely it affects, directly affects Ethiopia. If affects Ethiopia, and then as you know, Al-Shabaab trying to declare, they said we'll fight Ethiopia. They always say, and we have prepared, our military have got capabilities to deter them, and they never succeed. Ethiopia is as solid as any time, and they know who are Ethiopians. And these kind of narrations, which doesn't contribute, we need to counter them wherever they are. And we're working with also Somali region, Somali government, other regional Somali, like with Galmudug, Hirshabelle, Jubaland, many others, all these regions with, federal Somalia also. So this regional issue is very paramount for Ethiopia, as we are an anchor state in maintaining peace and stability in this region.
So what do you think should Ethiopia and Somaliland to engage further other countries in the region in this development and security integration?
I think, this issue is a mutual benefit. So we'll bring also other neighboring countries to work in this mutual aspect. And once, this good, it is a showcase for regional integration actually, which shows, IGAD plus African Union. So this MOU will pave also for regional integration and become a showcase for regional integration modalities that can work. It will include, militaries and, intelligence sharing, economic regional integrations, plus we Ethiopians, as you know, Ethiopia is epicenter for everyone. If you see, all Somali clan belongs in Somali region of Ethiopia. If you see Djibouti, only one east side there. You don't have any, because we have around 38, clan of Somali. All are belongs to in Ethiopian Somali. So others like that. So how can we try to develop strategic, social cooperations in a way that will achieve sustainable peace and prosperity? That requires immediate cooperations plus strategic guidance and platform in a way that we can cooperate for ensuring peace and stability in the region and shape also our future that is connected together. So I believe the role model that Somaliland Ethiopia start can, also encourage other neighboring country to join this force. And also, as we have said, the door is open, and Ethiopia's diversification for port, always if they said, Ethiopia is ready always to have this kind of deal with other neighboring countries.
The Horn of Africa has always been a spot of insecurity, and several actors from far and near are competing for control. How will Ethiopia's accessing the Red Sea impact military confrontations?
One thing always need to be considered is what Ethiopia can bring to these geographical areas. As a landlocked country previously, our role is well recognized at international level because we participated in peacekeeping starting in 1953 in Korean War, and then Congo, and then in Liberia, Burundi, everywhere, Somalia. Ethiopia has a legacy of maintaining international peace. And one of our driving force and beliefs is also our international peace is indivisible from our internal national peace and stability. Everything is connected together. So with having this, sentiment, plus again, look into the Ethiopia's capacity and capability. Ethiopia is a very huge country, and we have also now developed, since reform has been undertaken, a huge military capabilities in the areas, on the land, on also air, on, like cyber also, on the sea now. So this combining of all these forces, Ethiopia means the posture, previously also, anyone to looking into the current posture of Ethiopia, they will think twice before saying anything, because we have completely, this one is for deterrence, as we said. It's only to ensure peace. Having this capability means maintaining peace for the sake of peace. So these capabilities and capacities of Ethiopia project this one on Red Sea then. So there are stakeholders, international communities who have an interest in Red Sea. We are ready to work with them in a platform that will improve completely the cooperation between the two nations and the other international community. So Ethiopia, as always it is, we are going to strive and pay sacrifice our role to ensure our regional peace and security, which will also a subset of international peace and security. So Ethiopia can bring a lot of skills and knowledge it has in maintaining these maritime issues and also other security matters. And this will completely change the political and economy and geopolitical landscape of our regions.
What can be said of the diplomatic relations Ethiopia is establishing with East and Far East countries like China and India?
Any countries driving foreign policy is national interest. Ethiopia, we will not be in bloc politics with any country. We do diplomatic engagement with our good friends from Western countries, from Far East and South-South cooperations based on our national interest. Ethiopia, we are a big nation and second populous country in Africa, and we have a very youth population. So we need to create job for this youth population. So you need to diversify your economy also. So that is why Ethiopia is doing homegrown now 2.0, which is trying to address structural issues, productivity issues, also microeconomic issues, which is trying to increase also other capabilities, human capabilities. So to address these aspirations 2.0, so you need a lot of investors, foreign direct investment from abroad, and that field is also based on the priorities: agro-processing, manufacturing, tourism, ICT, mining. And then this engagement will marriage of convenience with Chinese, Indian, Pakistan, with others also European countries. We have a lot of cooperations with European countries. Netherlands are coming to invest in horticulture, as you know. US also, we have previously a lot of manufacturing that exports to that market. In technology also, cooperation. So this is very critical, getting based on tailored policies, what we can gain, what we can give. And so that will develop a kind of cooperation modalities which will take the country's strategic cooperation to high degree. China, at this time, it is one of the biggest investor in this country. They invest in us, and they are also, our development assistance in this country, and they extended for our also payment of some debts that we have in that system. So this is our strategic. So Ethiopia has developed all-weathered strategic partnership with Chinese, and that means we are working for ensuring our mutual cooperation. So this means it is, working closely together at bilateral level on all sectors, and also at regional and multilateral cooperation. So, this is what, our countries seeking to achieve cooperations, partnerships based on mutual cooperation. With South-South cooperations, what we pursuing is also justice, also representation at international, peace and security architects, and also in economic cooperation. So this kind of cooperation can be achieved through this, guided based on principles and values that will transform all nations, achieve also a mutual respect at regional and international cooperation. So this kind of, relationship we have. So others, apart from that, Ethiopia is seeking to be, always play its role in regional, international, because of our experience. Our legacies show that. Ethiopia is one of the Pan-African and never been colonized, and we have been a voice for voiceless at all, in League of Nations, in United Nations. So that is why also Ethiopia's, United Nations Economic Commission also here in Ethiopia, and we have African Union here, also Center for Disease Control, also CDC of African Union, a lot of regional cooperation. So Ethiopia always stand for international rule-based system and pays also its role and work together with all stakeholders, all regional partners to achieve a collective, peaceful and prosperous world.
Good, thank you for your time. Have you got any final message before we end this session, Your Excellency?
Yes, I think one thing is very important for all of us as an Ethiopians. As we have tried to maintain historic fractures that Ethiopia has gone through, and currently the reformist government headed by our Prime Minister is trying to address a lot of economic, political, social and cultural matters, and building Ethiopia who's under a grand narrations, and all Ethiopians Ethiopia belongs to all Ethiopians. So we need to develop a very democratic, which is constitutional democratic system, which will try to include also representations of all Ethiopians in the central government system, which ensures also political power sharing and also economic and justice in that matter. So it is very imperative what we have achieved as a nation at this time. It is very amazing. Joining of BRICS, which is a gift of a century, plus also access to Red Sea, which is our aspiration to have this one. So which will address also Ethiopia's having its role to play in the region. So this is a national interest. Even though we have some difference on some issues, political maybe, economic, but this kind of national interest issues should bring all Ethiopians together and pursue and protect and defend Ethiopia's national unity and Ethiopia's role that we have. So Ethiopia cannot, without our unity, we cannot achieve. And also, Ethiopia's aspiration to take its regional role, it is exact and proper location in this changing global dynamism requires all efforts of all Ethiopians from all walks, be it media, other politicians, and many things. That's why you can see in our government system, opposition party is also there. This is how we have to develop a narrations of being, sharing power also. And Ethiopia belongs to all Ethiopians, so that success story of Ethiopia's of this government will be a legacy for the next generation. So let us build Ethiopia, new horizon of Ethiopia, which addresses all our historic fracture and takes its right position in this changing global dynamism. I call upon every Ethiopians from all walks to soberly look into this matter and join hands together to achieve and Ethiopia's prosperity. Thank you.
Your Excellency Ambassador Jamal Bekir, Ambassador Extraordinary Plenipotentiary of Ethiopia to Pakistan, thank you for your precious time.
Thank you also for interviewing me on this important matter.
Dear viewers, this brings us to the end. Thank you for watching and stay connected with other programs of OBN Horn of Africa.